Here are a few things that may go wrong while you're doing the clean. You may bring the kettlebell up to the top and start to curl it like this. Okay, a lot of big guys are gonna do that, right? They're gonna pick it up and curl it rather than use their body. A simple fix to this, if we go right back to the cheat curl, we can go back to taking a step ahead of the bell. Take a big step ahead of the bell, even more so than we did with the swing. Grab the kettlebell behind you. This is extremely aggressive. My arm is locked out. I'm almost forcing my shoulder back toward the bell. And I drag the kettlebell from behind me up to the top. What this does is it ensures that I'm using my glutes and hamstrings to ride this thing to the top rather than pull it up with my arm. I don't want to curl it. This is not a curl. I want this to be brought up to that rack position with as little effort as possible. Again, we're doing this clean so that we can do presses after. All right, so we want as much energy as possible to get that press overhead. The clean is just a vehicle to get it there. Now, a lot of clients of mine say that this is probably the easiest exercise to perform once they learn it, but the most difficult to understand. We're trying to create weightlessness about waist height, right about here. So as I pull this up with my legs, I want weightlessness there and get under it very quickly. My elbow doesn't leave my side. Many people will also do this. They'll swing out in front of them and pull it toward them and bang into their arm and they bruise their wrist. Depending on how much you weigh, depending on the size bell you're using, you want to put the right amount of work into the job. Let's put it this way. If I know this is 72 pounds and I weigh about 200 pounds, this is not a huge amount of weight for me to bring up to my shoulder, so I don't have to be so aggressive with it. So knowing that, I stand ahead of it, using my legs, I put just enough effort into the job. Now, if this is much heavier, I put more effort into it. If it's lighter, I put that amount of effort. If I grab a 16 kilo kettlebell, I know this is very light for me. I don't need a lot of effort to bring it up to my shoulder. Again, put the right amount of effort into the job that's required. Another thing that could go wrong, on the descent of the kettlebell. Once it's up top, and you have that pretty comfortably, bringing the kettlebell back down to the floor, a lot of people will do this, and the kettlebell will drag them forward. The descent should happen from the hip. So, what it would look like is this. You bring it to the shoulder, rack it, just fall forward with your upper body, and catch it with the hamstrings on the way down. Very similar to the dead swing we did, where we start from behind our heels. So again, we bring it back to the top. Instead of letting the kettlebell drag me down, I'm catching the load with my hamstrings and my glutes. I'm still extending my arm on the way down and bring it back to the beginning position. Practice these drills if you're doing any of these things wrong, and you'll nail it.